Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, it's Irene, and today is all about Motivation Monday. And I'm so excited for this because it's all about expectations. And speaking of expectations, I had really high expectations this morning, and it all went down to pieces. So, anyway, once again, welcome to my channel, and I hope you had a really wonderful Monday. Mondays are always it should be as it should be happy, it should be something that you're looking forward to, so that the rest of the week will be in a really let's say in a really happy mood. So Monday is generally setting the tone for the entire week, so I hope you had a really good Monday. And of course, if you're watching from another time zone, and you're just about to have Monday, so good morning. Good morning to you. It's already nighttime in my time zone, so good evening, everyone. And again, welcome back to the channel. And of course, I'd also like to greet those who are watching via replay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learn an insight or two from this podcast episode. And our topic for tonight is all about setting realistic expectations. So before that, let me just share my screen again. Okay, there you go. And yes, I'm Irene. I'm a real estate broker in the Philippines. I'm also a motivational speaker and a writer. And I'm grateful that I have so many people who are helping me out to sustain the episodes in this channel, no matter how busy we all are. Thank you so much for my team behind this page. Thank you for always making sure that we have really fabulous designs. And yes, the show must go on no matter how busy we can get. And let's start our Motivational Mondays by defining our topic for tonight, which is expectations. So, okay. So, expectation is defined as a belief about or mental picture of the future. It comes from the Latin word expectationem, meaning awaiting. So when we are when we are talking about expectations, it's something about the future. Hi Lenny, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, thank you. And yes, I'm so fresh. Hopefully, I still am after a very busy, um, after a very busy and hectic and exhausting day. I'm so happy that I still look fresh on camera, although I cannot say the same thing when you see me in person. But thank you, thank you. All right. So when we are talking about expectation, it's something that's supposed to happen in the future. So it's what's inside our heads that's gonna happen in the future. Okay, so expectation. So what are the advantages of setting realistic expectations? Now remember, I'm talking about realistic expectations, all right? Because there are also unrealistic expectations, which we will also be talking about later on. But we are going to talk about the advantages first of setting realistic expectations. I have three. The first one is a higher success rate. And as you know, when you have realistic expectations and you meet them, then of course you have a higher success rate because you know that these expectations are realistic. They're something that's achievable. So the effect will be you have a higher success rate. Next is you have a shorter timeline in reaching your goals. And as you know, for when you are talking about goals, it should be smart. It should be specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic, and time bound. And when we are talking about setting realistic expectations, it's something that gives us, it's just a shorter timeline. And again, you have to have a timeline because if you don't have a timeline for your goals, then that's just dreaming. According to an author, right? According to an author, a goal is a dream with a deadline. So it has to have a deadline. So if you have realistic expectations, you have shorter timelines to achieve or to reach your goals. So those are the advantages. And also, obviously, if you set realistic expectations, aside from the higher success rate, you're also a lot happier because you achieve those expectations, which gives you a generally happy feeling, right? Because you've also a sense of pride, a sense of fulfillment, so a sense of self validation because you were able to achieve your goals. Okay, so oh, I have five. Did I have did I have five? Okay, another thing is it will keep your goals on track. I thought I only had three. Okay, so it also keeps you focused on your goals. It keeps you on track because remember when you are trying to achieve your goals, it's so easy to be derailed, or it's so easy to just literally go out of your way, like literally just all those expectations and stuff. It's easy to just forget about them, especially if you're already having a hard time. But when you have realistic expectation, it keeps you on track regarding your goals. So did I make sense? Okay. I was just so excited about this podcast that I think I'm blabbering. But and also this is live, so all right. What are the downsides of unrealistic expectations? Well, we had the advantages. Now we have the disadvantages of unrealistic expectations. Obviously, you set yourself up for failure and disappointment if you have unrealistic expectations. I think I talked about this um, in another podcast episode, which is what, for example, you just graduated from college and you suddenly, when you graduated from college, you suddenly felt like you want to buy a luxury car or a sports car right after college, like within a year of graduating from college. Unless you're really, really rich, you're coming from money. If you're not coming from money, or you're not coming from a rich family, or your parents did not give you a gift, they did not give you a luxury car as a graduation gift, then it's kind of hard to buy a luxury car right after college. And even after, maybe after 5 years of college, it really depends on what's your job, right? So unrealistic expectations make you it's a formula for setting up yourself for failure and disappointment. Hello, Sir Joseph. Yeah, so parang late ka ngayon. Hello, Jessica, thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so also another thing is burnout. Okay. I also talked about this in another podcast episode. I think I already talked about a lot of things in one podcast episode. So if you're watching this right now and you want to watch the previous episodes, just please scroll on the videos, because you will see a lot of episodes there, which may probably help you out in your goals, or maybe if you just want to um, have affirmations about the beliefs that you have, or maybe just to refocus on things, you can definitely visit some of the previous episodes. Okay, so what's burnout? I remember burnout is the first ever episode I ever did live. I ever did live. Um, that was in 2018. Burnout. I think that was the topic. I should probably find that video and upload it on my channel, because I was really awkward in there. So I think I pretty much improved since then. I hope so, because that's been 3 years. So I hope I improved a lot in terms of doing live podcasts. So anyway, so burnout. When we say burnout, it's a state wherein we just feel like we've already had too much, and then we just want to quit. Burnout is common. I mean, especially if you're exhausting yourself and you don't know where to go, you don't have directions, you don't have a goal. It's so easy to have a burnout. Like in any industry, it's so easy to have a burnout. Even if you're still a student, it's easy to have burnout, especially if you don't really like what you're doing. So in terms of unrealistic expectations, it's also easy to have burnout, because whenever you don't reach your expectations, or you don't fulfill your expectations, that's gonna be one of the results. You're probably gonna have burnout, and more often. Just not it's not just a one time deal. Maybe every time that you don't reach your expectations, you're gonna have a burnout. So that's why you really have to have realistic expectations. Hello, Sir Alexis. Good evening po. Thank you for tuning in. And to all the silent viewers, I know there are a lot of you in the background. Thank you so much for tuning in. I know there's no pressure, right? If you don't wanna post anything on the comment box, that's also okay. You can just listen to me while you're probably eating. Maybe you're you're chatting with friends, and you suddenly this notification suddenly pop up on pop up on your window or on your phones. That's also okay. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, and also the premeditated resentments. Premeditated sound sounded pretty much like a crime. So premeditated, it's like, oh, oh, ikaw pa rin yung nauna. Kasi kanina may number, may one na eh, before ako nag-live. Thank you. I mean, before ako nakita sa screen. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so kasi premeditated resentment. Bakit? Kasi before we even set those expectations, we already know that some of them will not really work out. 'Di ba? May mga times na parang ang taas-taas ng expectations mo. Tapos alam mo naman, somehow, you know it. You know that some of your expectations are unrealistic. So, you already know that some of them will hurt you. And that's what we meant by premeditated resentment. Parang alam mo na, bakit nasasaktan ka pa, 'di ba? Parang sa ano, parang 'pag may crush ka, kasi hindi nag-workout, parang alam mo na hindi kayo mag-workout pero umasa ka pa rin. So something like that. Also, it's also the same thing with goals. And why am I always relating my topic to from from work to love life, or from personal to organizational? Most of the concepts are actually just so much like love. So um at work, if you have your unrealistic expectations, it's also just like your personal relationships. It's you're gonna get hurt at one point, okay, when you have unrealistic expectations. Okay, so how do we really? Oh, that was quick. How do we really set? How do we really set realistic expectations? Okay, so let me tell you about what happened this morning. We actually had to, I actually have an appointment earlier this morning at 9 a.m. And then I posted this earlier on my Facebook page, right? On my personal Facebook page. So the lady that I was supposed to meet did not show up. Suddenly the lady just disappeared. She did not say anything. She did not say that she will be late or that she will not be able to make it. She just disappeared. And then an hour later, that's the time that she said, I'm not going to be able to make it. It's like, so we waited for like an hour for that person. So obviously, I also had expectations for the day. Usually my entire week is already planned out, but some things just don't really work out the way we want them to be, right? The way we want them to work out. And that's also something that we have to understand about expectations. We have our own expectations, but we have to be grounded with reality, or to reality. Did I say that right? I did. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so how do we really set realistic expectations so we don't really end up getting hurt? Okay, there you go. The first one is to have the right mindset. And as I was saying earlier, you really cannot control the outcome, or you can also control people's reactions. You cannot control people's actions. You can only control your mindset. You can only control your response. You can only control yourself. You cannot control everything else around you. And sometimes even our own body, we cannot control even our own bodies, right? We can't control diarrhea, for crying out loud. So you just really have to understand that the right mindset will lead you closer to your goals. And it also prevents you or saves you from disappointments. Okay. Always have the right mindset. And what's the right mindset? Of course, you're patient when you're trying to reach your goals. You also have to be, let's say, time conscious. That's another part of your having the right mindset. You also have to be trustworthy. Of course, when you're dealing with other people, you always have to be trustworthy when you're dealing with other people, so they also get to trust you and deal with you, whatever you're trying to whatever goals you're trying to reach. Another thing is maybe also showing up, yeah, right? Even though it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be hard, you have to just show up. Maybe audacity, right? Being brave in whatever rough roads you're gonna go through. So always have the right mindset. hmm So let me just post this one. This is really a challenging question. Do you really expect real expectations from fake people, ma'am? Good evening po. Hello, Sir Aquino. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, I cannot say. I don't know how to define fake people. I know there are a lot of them, but I'm not sure if we ever have to deal with them. But for me, I don't really set expectations from. I don't really have expectations. I don't really set too many expectations from people. Like, I just expect people to be good enough or be kind enough. That's it. I don't expect anything else. Like, I don't expect people to what's this to be always professional. I don't expect people to always be kind. Although sometimes, generally, that's the thing that I want to expect. But sometimes I don't really. I'm trying to eliminate that as well, so that when people turn out to be rude, at least I'm not shocked, because it's really up to us, right? We can't control what other people's reactions will be or how they will treat us. But for me, we can only control our emotions and our response. So we control how we treat other people. If they treat us very badly, or they're acting fake towards us, um let's just always be genuine, regardless of how they treat us. This is something that I learned from my mom. um when some people do bad things to you, it's on them. But when you do bad things to other people, it's on you. So focus on you. What can you do for other people, instead of like expecting them to always be kind, or maybe they're always doing favor for you, things like that. So I hope I answered your question, Sir Aquino. So don't expect anything, I guess. And also, maybe if you feel that there are people who are fake towards you, again, just be genuine, because it's on you. Their being fake towards you is on them, and that shouldn't be it's like that shouldn't be your problem anymore. I hope that made sense. Okay. Also, okay, accurately measure your limits. Okay, let me tell you this. Although I always tell you that we have to be limitless, but in reality, okay, you have to know what your limits are. Okay, for example, as a communication instructor, I always say this, that communication has several skills, right? And yet, even though I'm teaching communication, I'm very open that out of the core communication skills, somehow I'm really challenged with listening to other people. Okay, listening is my weakest communication skill. Now, because I know that, all right, because I know that, I'm always doing my best to put extra effort on practicing my listening skills. I do a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of listening to podcasts, or maybe audiobooks, because I know that's the only way I can really listen and practice my listening skills. So you have to know what your limits are, so that you can conquer them. Because if you keep on saying that I can do this, I can do that, I can do everything, it's like, come on. We're not perfect, okay? So you have to know what your limits are, so that you can push beyond them. Okay? Push beyond your limits. But we are not perfect. We can't do everything. So if you know that you cannot do something, well, you cannot do everything. That's the bad news, right? But the good news is you can do something about it. You can learn about it. You can practice about it. You can enhance your skills always. Like, it's really up to you to decide which skills you want to improve, or how can you improve it. It is always good to be true, ma'am. That's true. That's true. Like, it's really how we treat other people, not the other way around. That's true. Thank you, Sir Aquino. Okay, again, accurately measure your limits. And you know that. You personally know that, unless you're in denial. You know what your limits are. Like, I'm not scared of heights anymore, but I cannot I cannot I cannot walk on glass, which is, when it's transparent and you can see, like, your 10 feet, I mean 10 meters, um um above the ground, and then you're gonna walk on glass looking at 10 meters below the ground. It's really scary for me. Okay, but I think I've already conquered my fear of heights, but not to that extent. So I hope you get what I'm saying when it comes to limits. You can push boundaries if you know what your boundaries are. Also, again, be specific. What are your expectations? For example, just on a daily basis, we have so many expectations. So this morning, my expectation was I will be able to have several meetings. I think I've booked 3 or 4 meetings today, but only one pushed through. So be very specific about what your expectations are, and also manage your expectations. So the what ifs, for example, what if the person doesn't show up in the meeting? What if the person gets sick, so that person cannot make it to the meeting? Okay, so you have to address that what if, so that you will not be utterly disappointed with your expectations. So what I did earlier this morning is to push through with the next appointment, and I just did my personal errands so that I can fill in the time that I wasn't doing the meeting with the person that I was supposed to meet. So you just have to be very specific. Also manage your expectations, so that you know how to, get away with it. So you don't get hurt, you don't get annoyed. Okay. Another thing is you have to know your why. Okay. I have so many expectations. Like, people think that my expectations are sometimes like super, but I also always tell them this, that because I have so many whys, I have so many reasons why I'm expecting this and that, and it keeps me grounded. It keeps me Okay, I think I heard some echo in my ears. Speaking of listening. Okay. So, because it keeps me grounded, it keeps me moving forward, makes me feel that I'm doing this because I have a bigger purpose. And most of the time, my whys are not about me, just like this. My podcast is it's not about me at all. It's like, I'm doing this because I know that I can, and hopefully, hopefully, I'm doing justice to this podcast. And also, I felt like there's so many people who probably need to hear this out. Every episode, I always just think about the whys, even though I have so many what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. I always go back to, why did you start the podcast thing? And why do you keep moving forward? I always ask myself those questions, so that eventually I wouldn't feel burnout. Because burnout is really easy to, it's easier to achieve than than your expectations. Burnout is easier to achieve, I tell you that. But if you know your why, each time you get tired, or each time you're going through a challenging phase, or each time you feel like quitting, when you remember your why, it's like you feel energized again. Yeah, glass walk pala tawag doon. Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, oh my God, I cannot do that. But I tried the cable car. So I was seated. I was okay with it. It has a glass floor, and we were way beyond the ground, but it was cool. But I cannot walk, I swear. I cannot walk. Yes. Yeah, fear of heights. So scary but fulfilling. That's true. Good evening po, Sir Kilang. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay, so knowing your why, always know your why, whatever it is, whether you're fulfilling a dream, setting expectations, know your why. Why are you doing this? Okay, so that when you get tired, you know that you're doing this for this and that. Okay. Also, listen to feedback. Okay, but okay, again, take this with a grain of salt. Only listen to those you think will contribute to setting your realistic expectations. Okay, who do I listen to for feedback? Well, to keep myself grounded, I listen to my family. I listen to their feedbacks. I also listen to my A team. Those are my mentors, my friends who are also my coaches, or I also listen to those who have, who have been in the same industry for the longest time, same industry as mine. So I also ask them for feedback. So really, you really have to listen to feedback. But remember, again, take this with a grain of salt. You have to know who you're asking feedback from. Remember remember one of my previous episodes, who should you keep in your life? I really like that episode. You should watch that. I'm personally advertising that because I think it's one of the best episodes I ever did on my own, because I usually have a guest, right? Whenever we're talking about something else. But yeah, that's one of my personal favorites, that I'm the only one who's talking. Who should you keep in your life? So that's totally related to this. Who should you listen to? Because the people that you listen to, sometimes we listen to people who do not matter to us. Like they're just criticizing us for nothing, or they're criticizing us because they're insecure. They're coming from a place of insecurity and not from a place of goodwill. So they're giving you feedback because they doubt you, not because they're just trying to play devil's advocate so that you at least have some some constructive criticism. Sometimes there are people who are not like that. They're just criticizing you because they just want to pull you down. So again, listen to feedback, but choose who you're listening it from, because maybe you're listening to the wrong person. So always identify the people you have to call when you're setting realistic expectations. I already have my list who I'm supposed to call whenever I want to set expectations for myself. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know that's the last of my slide. Okay. So let me share with you a quote from Marilu Henner. She said that being in control of your life and having realistic expectations about your day to day challenges are the keys to stress management, which is perhaps the most important ingredient to living a happy, healthy, and rewarding life. Okay. Um, during during stress management, I always say this, that we cannot control everything. So stress management is one of the classes that I teach. I always say that not everything in falls according to your plans, and this is the bad thing. Okay, that's the bad thing. Not everything works out. But the good thing is some things still work out, even though you did not really plan about it, or even though you did not expect that it will work out, which is really good, right? You're not expecting it to work out, but it did. And so you suddenly feel happier about it. But the thing is, again, we have to be in control of our lives. Otherwise, our lives will control us, or circumstances will control us, or people will control us. So you just really have to know, what do you really want in life? And most people get lost because they don't know what they want in life. And it's easy to be burnout if you don't know what you want in life. It's easy to get lost, it's easy to be disappointed, it's easy to complain about life if you don't know what you want. But if you know what you want, let me tell you this, you don't have time to complain. Really. If you know where you're going to, you're going to get there, because you will try to find out. You will, no, not try, but you will find out how to get there. It's just like, when you don't really, when you're not really interested with let's say you're having a family vacation and you're not really interested um to go there, you just always find excuses. But when you're really excited, even though you're flying alone to a certain place, but you really love the place. Let me tell you this, at least a month before your trip, you're so excited to get there. You have already planned out what you want. You've already probably packed your bags. You've already booked a flight. You already know which restaurants you're gonna get into. So it's really just a matter of wanting, finding out what you want, and then do exactly do everything you can so that you can get there. Always have expectations, but make sure they're realistic, and also keep yourself out of distractions, because it's easy to get distracted, especially again when you listen to the wrong people or when you're with the wrong people. So dapat tama yung kasama ninyo. So yung pag yung kasama ninyo, um, kumbaga negative vibes or negatron, wala na. Wala na, finish na. Hindi ka talaga basta-basta mananalo sa expectations mo. So again, choose the people that you're hanging out with as well, para matulungan ka din nila somehow with your expectations. So, that's all, I guess. Meron po ba kayong questions? Baka may questions pa kayo. Feel free to post them on the comment box below. And to those who are watching, um, through replay, thank you so much for tuning in. I've seen several views because we can see it in the analytics at the back end of the page. Thank you so much. Ang daming nanonood ng replay. Maraming maraming salamat po sa panonood. And hopefully, if you feel that this episode has helped you out, please share the video, because we never know who we are helping with by just sharing the video. And I'm just so grateful for all of you for continuously supporting the channel. um we have so many plans for the channel, so hopefully you continue to support this, and we will also be launching several new episodes with partners. So thank you as well to those who have constantly sponsored our episodes. Thank you so much, everyone. You are all a part of the success of this channel. So let's keep this up, and thank you again for being here tonight. Tomorrow we will be talking about, interesting yung topic tomorrow. Um, should I open my tama ba? Should I open my should I open my partner's phone? Yun yata yung topic tomorrow. So watch out for that. It's really exciting. Well. Again, happy Monday, everyone. I hope you have a really, really, really fabulous week. Um, some things don't always work out the way we want them to, but some things still work out. So it's really all up to you. Okay? And of course, pray whenever you have expectations, whenever you feel like your expectations are about to like fail you. Okay, don't forget to pray, because praying always works wonders. Sometimes it changes things, sometimes it changes you. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, and manage your expectations really well. Set realistic expectations. And I'll see you all again tomorrow night. Good night, everyone. God bless you. Thank you.